Welcome to episode 1 of I'm Just Saying. I am so excited. I have been wanting to reactivate the YouTube for a really long time, but your girl can be kind of lazy. Let me give you a quick little intro here. I started making content on TikTok almost 2 years ago. It literally saved my life. I was going through pregnancy, postpartum. I started to share all of my feelings about motherhood, the undesirable parts, the parts that I'm grateful for, the shocks, the intensity, the unexpected, and I found such an amazing community over there. And I'm so grateful for it. It made me not feel alone. And all it has done is empower me to know that my voice matters and your voice matters because you have changed my life. And I do feel like I have contributed to helping people not feel alone. So in some weird way, we have all created this big circle where we're all functioning together and giving each other so many things that I think are really important to survive womanhood and motherhood. And so I'm Just Saying is going to be my new series where we just talk about shit. We are honest about things, we share the undesirable things, we talk about what we're grateful for, the shocks, the surprises that come with motherhood, and just being a girl and how we prioritize ourselves and how we live whole and happy lives, but also really owning it and being truthful about how sometimes shit is just wow, and that's okay. First episode of I'm Just Saying is going to be a Q&A. I asked for a Q&A on Instagram. I got some DMs on TikTok as well. So we're gonna go through what's going on. More about your relationship with Dimitri. What I can tell you about my relationship with Dimitri is that I genuinely feel like if you marry someone who is your best friend, they will always be rooting for you in two capacities. Like, especially when we as husband and wife sometimes are not able to always like get along because life comes up or whatever. I can be annoyed with my husband, but I want to be there for my friend. And I think being able to look at him through like two different lenses and him, me, allows for us to be able to always meet each other in the middle in some way. And this question also asked about like, because I was very vocal about immigration. Someone decided to tell me that they thought it was a really bad idea that I was sharing our immigration story online. So I'm just gonna clarify a few things. My husband is an immigrant. He moved here not for me, but for me. We had been dating for like 3 years, and I told him that I needed to move closer to my family. I had family stuff come up. I really needed to be around. I needed to be like boots on the ground and support. And so I needed to leave London where we were living. And he was very understanding and whatever. And then a few days had gone by and he's like, I want to come too. He came here on an ESTA. That is a 3-month visa. We had a 3-month lease. We were planning on staying here for 3 months. That was the goal. So I could get my shit organized with my family so that he could just like hang out with me. Financially, we could do that at that time. It was kind of one of those moments where it made a lot of sense. Dimitri worked in nightlife. He had a lot of friends in New York. He was here hanging out, networking, going out, whatever. He was not working. We did not plan on continuing to live here. We planned on moving back to the UK because we both had so many roots that we had planted there, and that felt like the move. Because of my job opportunity that I got here, I told him that I wanted to stay. When his 3 months ended, he left. When he came back in on a temporary working visa. But all of that happened, the job opportunity for me and everything else happened after we were already engaged. You can never win with the internet, and it's always funny because you give people insight or knowledge and you share what you choose to share, because that's the amazing thing about being a creator is you can choose to share the details you want to. There are so many nuances and so much depth to every single story that you hear on the internet, but for some reason people just choose to pick the thing that wasn't fully explained and be like, yeah, but what about that? I got a few questions about the gym. So how do you decide your workouts? Like, do you follow a schedule? What kind of workouts do you do? So I've just recently got back into the gym. I was really into running with my weighted vest on when I was postpartum, like freshly postpartum, started working out. My whole pregnancy, I lifted and I ran, and running was one of those things that like I felt was a lifeline for me because I felt so in control of my body when clearly like during pregnancy, you're so out of control of your body. And so I kind of progressed into running then postpartum. Then I threw on the weighted vest because I was really trying to shed like a lot of the weight that I was carrying, because one thing about me is when I'm breastfeeding or pumping, my body will not budge a pound. Like, so many people told me, you will shed the weight. Like, my mom was like, you'll shed. No, my body was like holding on to every last bit. Also, when I got pregnant, I immediately gained, like, I'm not kidding, 10 pounds within the first 2 weeks because I never had like sickness, like throwing up. I just was nauseous all the time. The system of workout that I'm on right now is that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I just do cardio. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm doing weight training with a little bit of cardio. Like I just finish off with cardio. How do you handle a baby that only likes contact napping? I think that you slay at the contact nap when you can figure out a way to do it hands-free. And I know that's harder as they get older, but if you can figure out a way to do that, I think it will feel less like you are sacrificing time for yourself and more like you are able to get some things done. When he was like older, like 8 months, 9 months, and he only wanted to contact nap, is I would use the boppy pillow and I would get him all set up on me, like contact napping, and then I would slowly let go and have him like nested in the boppy pillow with like against my body, but then I could work on my computer or scroll if I wanted to, or I could like watch something or like plan things, plan grocery lists or whatever, because the worst thing is about contact nap is you feel like you just don't get any time to yourself. So for me, the key to contact naps is simply just planning around them and planning them strategically. So it may not be you actively getting something done in the sense of laundry or cleaning up or whatever, but how can you organize yourself during that time? Do you have a toy rotation? Yes, we do. When we moved and we got enough space that we could put some of the toys in storage, which we have a basement now, thank God, it's been life-changing. What I will do is whenever I see that he's getting bored, I don't have a schedule or anything, but I pretty much let him play with whatever toys he wants to until he doesn't want to anymore. And as soon as I start to see that he's getting bored, we go downstairs and we take 3 toys and he can pick 3 toys. And we say goodbye to those toys because I don't want to assume what he likes. And the whole point of a toy rotation is that they are going to be excited and want to play with new things. It's going to give you time. They're going to want to independently play. So for all of that to happen, they need to be involved. That's my opinion. Meal prep ideas. What has really helped us with meal prep is he eats all of the same fruits and vegetables that we eat. I meal prep vegetables and fruit for the week. And then usually we'll have like one bowl, like Dimitri and I will eat a bowl for a lunch or a dinner. And then usually things from that bowl, we can compose his own bowl. I always make him a pasta dish, specifically raviolis or something for the week. And then I always keep enough stuff to make wraps and quesadillas. I just think it's about minimizing your amount of effort and making sure that you prep enough things that you can create meals out of them. You see yourself modeling for the rest of your life or transitioning to another career. I never planned on doing it this long. That's actually the plot twist of them all. It just happened to be that it worked out like this, and I've worked for really good clients that there is a lot of longevity with. I'm a e-commerce model, so with e-commerce, especially some of the brands that I work for, they cut your face off. So aging is not really an issue. I do see myself transitioning into a different type of modeling career, which is something that I'm actually working on right now. Just something that I feel like is more lifestyle based and something that is like more of my age, because I'm not 20 anymore and I don't need to pretend that I'm 20. I will never put myself in a box of an unrealistic standard, because I've done that before and all it does is create for me to be extremely unhappy, and then I achieve that thing not for myself, for somebody else, and then when they don't pick you anyway, it just is soul crushing. So I'm just trying to stay aligned with me, feel healthy, be healthy, do what works with my body, and embrace the changes in my life. To make sure I ever consider being one and done. Yeah, all the time. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We talked about it a lot more when Jazz was younger, but as of late, we're like, we really want to have another baby. We're loving this time. I feel like things have gotten easier. We found our rhythm. Daycare was a huge part of all of that. How do you respond to people asking you when your next kid is? I tell them God's plan. I think that it is so disrespectful to ask somebody that, especially because like you don't know. Like before I had a kid, I would have never known this, but like I think asking a mother like, oh, when are you gonna have your next? Unless that is a topic that is being brought up in the conversation, especially by the mom, or talking about more like whatever, then I understand asking that. But for me, it's like, you have no idea. Like, did that person have a miscarriage? Maybe they thought they were pregnant 2 weeks ago. Maybe they had really bad PPD and are still like very scarred and struggling from that. Maybe this person is trying, and maybe this person isn't in the financial position to have another kid. Like, any way you slice it, you are asking an inappropriate question. And I know that people don't have the worst intentions in doing it, but I think that we have to at some point understand that that should not be the norm. The norm should be not commenting on things unless you are invited to. How do you deal with loss of friendships during pregnancy / when you had your baby? I have looked at it like this. Not everyone is meant for every single chapter, and that needs to be okay. That has to be okay with me. And I am not someone who is ever going to try and change anyone. That is not my business. That is not my power. I am not even capable of it if I wanted to be. I cannot change people. All I can do is see people for who they are. And if that is the space that I feel like is right for me to be in, that makes me feel whole and happy and I'm growing and we're all just like living happily together, then that is my friend and we're good here. We have not fully transitioned off the bottle. He still has his night bottle and I don't feel any shame about that. It is what it is. Did you ever feel like you didn't like your husband after having Jazz? Absolutely. There were so many times where I'm like, who are you? I'd be better off on my own. I don't know what we're doing here. And I think that that's part of like the roommate phase, and then things just like you are so overstimulated that you just want to be alone. And then also you're looking at this person like they're supposed to save you. And I've said this before, and I think that it is like the most true thing about new parents the first time you have a kid. In a relationship, most of the time, you are going through things at different times. Like, I think even with weddings, people get involved in different ways. Like everybody can kind of like get involved in the capacity that they want to and whatever, but that is like a milestone that you share as a couple. But with a baby, it's so different because both of your lives have literally changed. Both of your lives are like, what the fuck at the same time. So it is really hard to like support each other when you're both like, you know? And so I think the roommate phase is real. I think that different types of phases of relationships are real. I think that owning and knowing that like sometimes the person that you love the most is the person you like the least when shit is hitting the fan. And I do not find that to be negative at all. I just find that to be facts. Did you know Jazz was ready to sleep train? I knew that he was ready because he was taking really good crib naps and he was trying to get longer nights, but he wasn't able to like settle himself and stuff. My sleep training vibe was that I read everything and then I watched him and kind of observed him for a week, and I started to implement things that I felt like he was kind of already doing and then just kind of enhanced it and structured it. Just felt like the right time. I feel like if he wouldn't have been reacting well to the crib, I probably wouldn't have tried that. Tips for anxiety during pregnancy. Okay, this is serious. First of all, do not engage in things that heighten your anxiety. Do not listen. Do not let people corner you. Something that I hated when I was pregnant was when people would corner me and be like, and then this, and then this, and then this. I also really did not like when people would tell me their birth stories, especially the traumatic ones. I would go into a full body panic and not be able to tell somebody to stop. I remember one time we were at a dinner party and someone was telling me the most traumatic birth story ever. I was going into a full body panic. Demetria was like, she doesn't want to hear this. She does not want to hear you saying this to her. And I was like, dude, I'm legitimately about to throw up and shit my pants like all at the same time. You need to stop. I would say being in encouraging spaces for you, doing things that make you freaking happy, treat yourself. And every time you start to feel a thought of anxiety, remind yourself of this. You are capable of more than you could ever even fathom in your brain at this current moment in time. This is not happening to you, it is happening for you. A main source of anxiety is because you don't know. You don't know what to do. You are feeling out of your depth, right? Until that baby is in front of you, you cannot start to then be able to tackle a lot of the things you feel anxiety about because you can't just do it. You know, when you are going through something new, it's like sometimes you just gotta start. It's like, it's the thing about pregnancy is like you're just sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So the anxiety can really bubble up in you. But it's important for you to remind yourself, this is a time where you deserve to rest. This is a time where all you are responsible for is taking care of yourself and making sure that you are the vessel that you need to be and keeping yourself in a place that feels good for you. It is okay to be afraid. It is okay to be scared. Anybody is scared and afraid and anxious when they're doing something new for the first time. No one is ever fucking ready. Trying to remember that the feelings of anxiety and the feelings of excitement are one and the same. How do you stay so positive? Okay. When I had Jazz and experienced postpartum depression, I feel like my whole world was wrong to be very, very severe and dramatic. I don't stay positive. I'm gonna die. Like I literally was like, it is life or death. And so The only responsibility I gave myself was get the fuck up. Get up every day. Get up. If you get up, you win. And sometimes when I'm feeling like shit and I'm feeling really negative, I will list like 5 ways that shit could be worse. And when I think that way and I'm like, oh my God, like if those 5 things fucking happened, that would be really bad. But then I remind myself, I'm like, but you would actually, you would still get up every day and you would be able to survive it. And it's like, okay, but it's not that bad. And so, and if you would be able to survive your that bads, then you can definitely survive this. Fake it till you make it. For us to manifest our desires, for us to accomplish our goals and our dreams and live the life that we want, we have got to believe that we are that person already. When you feel like shit, own that you feel like shit. You are fucking allowed. I feel like you cannot keep those feelings trapped and shoved down or they will eat you alive. Anyway, this was very exhilarating and very fun. I'm very excited about this new chapter. I just want you to know that you're capable, goddess queen. You are deserving of the life that you want. You are capable of achieving the life that you want, and it is okay if not every day is a fucking slay, because you are still slaying. You are killing it. Just getting up sometimes is a huge accomplishment. You deserve to feel happy and whole. You don't need to know how to do everything to be good at what you're doing. I believe in you and I'm proud of you, and I'm just so grateful for you and this journey and this community that we all share, and I'm really excited for the YouTube. So if you liked this Q&A, let me know and we can definitely do more of these. But I need to go pick up my child from daycare now and get back into the chaos that is my life. Love you so much. Bye.